Well,
Wow.
it's been a while since the book has flown.
It has been a while.
It has really been a while. I missed that one.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Before we get started, I need to explain something to everybody in chat.
okay,
Cheeto dust. Okay.
Cheeto dust. Cheeto, you done? Okay. Cheeto dust. I don't even know what that means. Hello,
Oh,
everybody.
there's a couple in there that know what it
Yeah.
means. So we'll
Okay.
just leave it there.
Cheeto dust. Okay. Wait a minute. That is. I'm in there. Like I'm assigned that, and I don't. I think I need the rules. I don't know. It wouldn't be that uncommon for me to be in a group and not know what's going on, like the whole day. I don't know how I got in there.
I've
I
been
don't
in
know
groups like
why.
that before.
Yeah, well, I am assigned the Cheeto whatever thing, and I don't know nothing, just nothing at all. I could use help. You know what? Somebody could make a lot of money as a guide over there. It would be fun too. They'd probably be messing with everybody, but
I think
anyway.
Trent would be good for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Trent. How you doing? Good to
He's
see you.
smart.
Hey, Shill. Nice to see you and everyone. Michelle Robsky, Turtle Moves. Is so yeah, it's gonna be a little bit bumpy. It's politics or political review because like politics is really, I don't know. There's been so much going on. You want to start with Cheeto Man? You said
We're
Cheeto.
gonna start with the
You know,
Cheeto Man.
and you know what I thought as soon as you said Cheeto, I think orange. When I think orange, I'm like, the man's not a ginger. Let's just get that straight, okay? Just because
Nope.
he's orange, like that's tanning. He's not a ginger. He's not one of us. Okay, we make no claim on that person.
So,
Well,
starting with Don.
let's not. You know what? Yeah, because okay, now he had a lot going on with him. We know there's so many investigations. There's so many charges. I'm on the East Coast here, so I'm well aware of all the New York crap that's been going on with him for years and
Oh
years
yeah.
and years. Okay, so to say that I'm just a little bit disappointed in which one was the first indictment would be an understatement.
True. I think we
Would be a
all
great
are.
understatement.
Yeah.
Um
But at the
like
same time,
it's like, do you ever
it
wonder?
is also the oldest
It is.
investigation going
It
on.
is.
So
And so they probably had more material and they were in better shape to go forward
right.
because it does go all the way back to 2015, 2016, like bullshit. But it does kind of give them a lot to say on the other side about it being retaliatory or sour grapes
It
or,
does.
it looks kind of petty, to be honest. And
It looks just
mm,
as petty as it did when Clinton was being impeached for what people thought was having sex in the Oval Office, and
but that really wasn't
they
it. Like,
did not understand that he
it,
wasn't being impeached for that. He was
no,
impeached
lying
for
about it.
lying to Congress.
Lying to the Congress about it. And it's the same thing with this indictment. So
It
who
is.
cares? Who cares if he was having a thing with some porn star? I don't.
I
I
don't
mean,
care.
we've
I don't even
heard
care that
worse.
he paid her off.
We hear worse things about these
I mean, if he was
people
going to
all the
pay me
time.
$233,000, I might have a fling with him too. But
Exactly, exactly. But still, that wasn't the thing. It was
nope.
how they decided what really the case is about is the actual conspiracy to cover it up, the conspiracy to do it wrong from the start.
And
How
where
do
that
we
money came from.
and where the money came from. So in other words, like to put it through like this lawyer to that lawyer to that, like, and made a constructive plan to
Hmm.
hide what they were doing, eh, knowing it was against the law what they were going to do. So he knew where the money was coming out of, and he wanted to actually hide that fact. Not the
Yeah.
fact that he was paying her, not what the money is for, but where the money came from.
Where
That's
did
where the
that money
biggest
come from?
campaign funds.
Oh, his campaign pack. Oh,
Hmm.
I don't
And
think you're allowed to spend money like that for the.
no, you're not. And then you're not allowed to have correspondence amongst all the people involved saying how you want to hide it and call it this and call it that, so
Right.
nobody catches on.
And
I
that's
mean,
the conspiracy
active,
part of our
right,
charges.
active conspiracy to actually commit the crime. They talked about it before they even did it. Then they did it a certain way and then talked about why it had to be that way. So there was definite conspiracy there, and that happens to be the problem. It's not so much that, like, I don't care about whatever he did with Stormy Daniels. I really don't
Well,
care.
I know that there were
And
a lot of people in that courthouse that were just in tears. I mean, a lot of them
mm,
just in tears.
laughing, laughing. I'm sure they were laughing. They weren't crying. That's for sure. But this is what I want to know. Like, don't you think that both sides should have a PR team at this point, because it's getting so stupid, this stuff that they're
Uh,
doing? Like,
No, actually, I
just
think both sides are already in trouble because of what's been said.
mm,
Um, you know, Don Jr. and Don Sr. was brought uh, the district attorney's wife and daughter into this.
well,
Um,
that's just that. You know what? Listen, that's just a typical Trump attack. I have no point. Let me go for all the players. All he does is like rip and shred. It's like you know, it's kind of like high school football or college football. Okay. When the team just knows they don't have a chance to win, what do? They just like they have a couple of parties the day before, and they just rip up everybody involved, all the other players. They're out
hmm,
there voting people, they go after their girlfriend, like whatever, to psychologically like trip them up, you know.
yeah,
This is
but unfortunately, it's also illegal to bring in your judge's
it is.
family into anything. I mean, that's automatically seen as trying to intimidate a judge.
Oh, it definitely. Oh, well, I mean, that happens all the time, doesn't it?
Sure, I mean it happens in almost every court. I went into I went into municipal court and watched people come in, who had to pay tickets, and they would yell at the judge and talk about their family and what they were going to do to them if they ever saw them again. The judge was just like, "Okay, that's fine. Get out of here as long as you
No,
pay us."
I don't know, but
Wait, no, that
this
didn't
is
happen.
it's the whole mentality that they think that the words that they say don't actually account for anything. That you can say whatever, that's not actually the breaking of the laws and stuff like that. But they're learning the hard way that it actually is. Okay,
Yeah.
because like to get back in that whole Trump thing, even though that is just the way that they do it in the personal attacks and everything. We've seen that right from, Don Senior all the way down. The whole organization does it that way. They're coming into some really hard times, okay? Because first of all, Trump organization on the East Coast here, everybody acts like, oh, this is just like we're just targeting them for like no reason at all. Let's just be clear that we're talking about an organization that can no longer hold a charitable designation on the East Coast because of how they ran their charities. They cannot anymore based on the thievery, the lies, the miscommunication, the
Mm-hmm.
misappropriation. You name it, they did it. Okay. And now, again in December, have been guilty of 17 counts of fraud, tax violation, and everything else. We're not talking about an organization that's been doing it right. I mean, they've had problems. If you count the lawsuits, Trump and lawsuits is just like they just go together like peanut butter and jelly. Like
Yeah.
because there's so many. There's been so many here on the East Coast. Most of them business related,
Sure.
not paying contractors, violating of rental laws, violating of this, that, tax evasion a lot, bullying. I mean, you can sue people for bullying. Or I forget what they call it legally, but yes, you can. And then mostly that's defamation, libel, and all that other
Right.
stuff.
Right.
Um, but there's so many lawsuits, and so it was disappointing that this was the one that they actually went on. This April we're going to have an ex-president in a civil case going up against SA charges and defamation through his own fault. Maybe it
Mm-hmm.
was just defamation, and then all of it, New York made that law where there was the look back, and Jean Carroll decided that he was still out there talking. He's still out there committing defamation against her every
Yeah.
chance that he gets. And she got pissed off. She filed. She
Of
filed.
course.
And the court let it go through. Like
Yep.
they were like,
Not
okay,
only did they let it go through, it starts in 13 days.
yep. And he's already been told you have to be there. You have to attend. Like you don't get to not come to
Well,
court.
he's been his attorneys have been asked to respond to a judge's whatever query
Hmm.
as to how many days or what days Mr. Trump plans on being there.
And that was because they're going to need so much extra security and so much stuff. Like it's going to be, I can't even imagine. Can you imagine holding court with Trump?
I can't see him sitting through a trial. I really can't.
Okay. Well,
I don't
in
think
his,
he has the ability to sit still and be quiet for that long. I just don't think he has.
you know what? I think it's not his element. He's never really been held to task like that before because even in the arraignment of this indictment, when they went in, there was all kinds of reporting that he was too quiet. The judge kept having, he had to speak up. They couldn't understand what he was saying. You know, he was quite uncomfortable between his lawyers. Like, don't
Mm,
even get me started with that lawyer.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm waiting for the charges on that lawyer. That lawyer just like so many of the lawyers already have sanctions on them, have been fined, penalized, called back for all of these filings. I mean, Trump himself has started so many lawsuits, just against the government for the Mar-a-Lago stuff, against Florida, like against everywhere that he possibly can. It's not
right.
that he's a stranger to litigation, but he is a stranger to being actually told he has to hold up his end of the bargain. He has to actually be there for court. He actually has to prove what he's saying with these
Hmm.
lawyers. He's not
I
used
was
to that.
thinking maybe if they
Yeah.
gave him like a coloring book from McDonald's and some crayons, he would
Mm,
be
and I think
able
that
to handle it better.
if they gave him a Coke, he'd be okay. Isn't he like they have a Coke, you know? But I don't know. He's just not. He's not used to it
Yeah.
at all, and they can't get out of it. He's always been
And
able to get
let's
out
be
of it.
honest. This, his the Gene Carroll trial is going to be nothing compared to some of the stuff. Especially if Georgia comes through.
Well,
Uh,
yes, and
if
to be
if
clear, Georgia is about the 2020 election.
yeah, and
And you,
if Jack Smith comes through, which is the January
mm-hmm.
6th committee stuff, um, I don't see him being able to keep his mouth shut during those proceedings. I really don't.
Uh,
I think eventually the judge is going to have to put him in a separate room. He's not going to hear him
mhm.
while he's trying to get testimony. I mean, it's
Right.
just you need to shut up, sir. That's it.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. That's. Can you? He's not controllable, and he's already proven that even with the best advice, he will just keep going because a lot of this about January 6th and about the election stuff is them giving out the misinformation. Even after all of the investigations were done into the voter fraud accusations, the machines being off, Dominion has a huge lawsuit. They are
Hmm.
they are knocking people out left and right. I mean, they've got Rupert actually backing away from Fox. That's his company, and somebody's like, "Hey, you're all on your own with your foul
Well, I
selves."
got I got a
You
feeling
know,
Fox is going to have to declare bankruptcy
oh, there's just
to
no way
survive.
they're going
There's
to be
just no.
able to.
I mean,
Yeah.
even if
Hmm.
even if they go to settle,
Yeah.
I think
Well,
Smartmatic and Dominion will
yeah.
just
Well,
put the
the
screws to them.
precedent has been set. The lawyer that was up there talking all the time on it got 10 violations, counted guilty, and had to count sanctioned for
Yeah.
every statement. Like, not just, okay, you just did this in general. They went back and they got it. You said it here, boom, that's this amount of money. You said it there, boom, here's some more money, here's some more.
Hmm.
Like, they sanctioned the heck out of one of their talking heads. Like, that's it. Like, the, yep.
And let's be honest, it'll be fun to see what they do to like Tucker and the rest.
Yes. Well, Tucker was pretty loud on Dominion. He's got things to worry about. He
I
should
think
be
they all
looking.
do over there.
Yeah. But here's the thing: with the lawyer, at least there was a professional organization and some oath that, like, that they could
True.
actually get them for. What are you going to get on Tucker? Like, he's a paid asshole. Are there rules for paid assholes? Like, come on, like we don't got a sanctioning organization for him just lying through his teeth because basically that's his job, Quiz.
No, but
Like,
he is a part of, or can become a part of the
mhm.
Smartmatic and Dominion. I mean,
Well,
he,
it just
all of them
names
all of them should be
everybody.
pretty worried about now. Especially since their texts have been released. Um, and now I haven't seen the compilation, but I know there must be one by now. Is listening, having Tucker Carlson say his crap and then
Mm,
throw up his text. I mean, to show exactly what he was thinking, or
right.
you know,
Oh, I don't know. Well, of all of the other suits that could have came forward, I don't know.
mm,
It's gonna be. I think Dominion, because Trump is even. They're all indicated in that too. So
hmm.
everybody, the whole camp, everybody is all into. That's gonna be one to definitely watch. But that's not even the biggest one on the Trump radar.
As
That's
far
bigger.
as
Like
I'm
for
concerned, even the insurrection, I think the Georgia is probably
You know what? I think
the
people should
biggest
be
problem.
more. I think all of us individually, as Americans, as voting Americans, that should be the one we're really concerned about the
Hmm.
most because that was actually a person in power trying to
Literally overturn an
literally
election.
overturn an election. Not only did he like say a whole bunch of stuff about the voting machines, they tried capturing voting machines.
Well,
They
that
tried to
and
illegally
he he
um
he literally told Rafflesberg, "Find me 11,870 votes. That's all I need. 11,780 votes." He said it on the call.
mhm,
It's okay. Just find them and give the election to us. We'll deal with the fallout. That's what
right.
he said.
Mhm.
Don't
We'll
worry
take
about
care
it.
of it. Don't
We'll
worry
deal with
about
the
it.
fallout.
That's
It,
right, because all powerful can't be held accountable for anything. What
how in the world is that not
I don't
a problem? Is that
it
not an election issue? I mean, how
it
is that
is.
not a federal issue for one? But
It is.
isn't
In
even on the state side, how is that not immediately?
it
ringing alarm bells, raising flags.
exactly, and yet it's getting pushed. It's getting pushed off. Although there is special counsel is looking into that. That's one of them.
Yes, there is a
Absolutely.
there
Um,
has been movement on that
Right,
recently.
but
So
I just don't understand why the public, like we, the individuals, aren't more outraged on that one. I guess you know what it is. We're getting desensitized. There's so much crap about him that you just like you're like, oh yeah, like everybody's just like, oh well, that's a Trump thing. Like, well, yeah,
yep,
that's a Trump thing.
that's
But
the Trump
but
thing.
here's the thing. Like he's not like everybody calls it like what Teflon Don,
Teflon Don
just like that mobster who eventually
got caught
it's
from the IRS.
yeah. Eventually it got stuck, and eventually once they did get one thing on him, everything just piled up, and that was
Hmm.
it. Well, here's the thing. Um the Supreme Court has ruled against some of the presidential law that he was hiding behind, especially in the civil case of Jean Carroll.
Right.
They tried to say repeatedly, like this took a while to come forward because they repeatedly tried to say that a president can stand there and say anything he wants in the operation of his presidential duty, and you cannot sue him for it. Okay.
Yeah, but
All right.
talking
But
about sexual assault, how you sexually assaulting another person is not your
mm,
presidential duty.
on or the peripheral presence of whether or not you would or not because they're not
Yeah,
attractive enough, that doesn't fall under presidential duty. You're right, but
right.
there had to be a whole big lawsuit
Of
about it
course.
to figure it out, and then went back and forth with the state Supreme Court and then the federal, back and forth and back and forth, and finally they decided that a blanket letter that says just because he was president on that day doesn't mean he was actually conducting presidential duties when he opened his mouth. Now that's precedent right there. Legally,
Right,
that
right.
is a
Yep.
huge thing. That has never happened. Never happened. Okay. They've always been able to hide behind that. Immunity in impunity, like so to speak. Okay. But not anymore. Now it's like, no, there is a difference. You are a man and a president at all times. But the law finally just said, yes, you can be both at the same time because you couldn't before. Not
Right.
not if you were president. You were just the president, and you were just like nothing could stick to you. But we, apparently
Well, you can't. I mean, the Supreme Court has still said that while they're in office, you can't sue them.
you can't sue them, but you can hold them accountable for what they're saying, which is what. But now he's out of
Well,
office.
actually, a court cannot hold the president responsible.
Well, the
It
civil
has to be
court.
Congress first. They
Mhm.
have to impeach him, get him out, and then you can go after him.
That
But
is
no
for
one's
anything.
going after a sitting president.
No, not a sitting, yeah, not a sitting president, but he's out now, and Jean
Yep.
Carroll used the law appropriately to go
Right.
forward, okay, in every way that she could. And he kind of brought this on himself, like, with his actions, and that he's not able to hide behind it. That some
Right.
of the what it was is because the statements were made while he was president. What he's getting sued for, the statements, the defamation statements were during his campaign.
Hmm.
So, like, it was during his campaign right up to when he became president, right up even during his presidency, every time her name came up. So, that was legally a big deal that they were able to do that.
Yep.
Um,
No, I agree.
and then when New York opened up the loophole for adult survivors of SA from years ago being able to put it, they added it to the suit. And I don't know about you, but I was actually surprised that made legal mustard all the way through. The court actually had to decide whether they could add it or not and whether there was enough there, and they went with it.
Yeah.
And I was quite surprised. I thought it was like a Hail Mary. It wasn't going to go, but it did.
Well,
It did.
I would like to say that if it was in another state such as Texas, it probably would have been struck down. But I
I
can't say
think it
that
would have.
because if it was in the state of Texas, it would never have been brought up.
Hmm. Yep. What's happening about his taxes, Turtle Moves? There is so much. The company itself has been found guilty in December.
Hmm.
And that's like because the head bookkeeper just came in, confessed to everything, did the implication, took his lumps, so to speak. He knew they had them dead to rights with the paperwork. We also have a civil suit going on with everything about the Trump organization and Trump personally. that DA has actually got a civil suit for back taxes of 250 million billion whatever dollars that she got
Right.
on there. Letitia's after him for sure on that. The That's in New York though, because that's where most of all his businesses are operated out of. It's been his main operating state for quite some time for all of his organization, even though they travel all over. As much as he says he hates us over here on the East Coast, right? Quiz, like he still didn't move out of New York. Well,
No, it hasn't moved out of New York. So
mhm. I'm not sure if the IRS has started an investigation yet. There are all kinds of rumors that, but you have to remember that
yeah.
one of the things that happened during the Trump presidency was the dismantling of all oversight committees and all oversight that's
Mm-hmm.
done. The Ways and Means Commission was gone. The ones that look into all the laws where you can't take kickbacks or have business functions while you're in office, all of that stuff is gone. And
Which is
also
why
fired.
Trump was able to get the IRS
Mhm,
to audit Comey and
mhm,
his boss
mhm.
back to
But
back. I mean, it was
they
like,
they basically got rid of so many people in the IRS. They didn't replace people. They removed people.
yep.
They like it
You
was
mean
like
those
they made the
87,000 IRS agents who all have handguns?
uh-huh. And they just definitely just it's not the way it was. First of all, they don't have as many people there as they used. It really needed to be built back up. So it's the fact that there's any investigation at all. There's not anything coming out about it that I heard, Michelle, right
Nah,
now.
I haven't
Um,
heard a thing coming out either.
Individual states are. New York has successfully gone after them,
Yep.
quite a bit, and are still going after them, because remember, federally, we got the Southern District of New York. Like, that's where a lot of stuff is coming out. That's where this indictment is coming out of.
Right. Right.
Braggs has filed this indictment that he is now criminally. It's his first criminal case that he actually personally is named in, that he is actually inside a courtroom having to justify himself.
hmm
Um, and it's all about campaign finance and
Yeah.
misappropriation of funds. Okay, they've
Right.
got 17. It's a financial thing. It's a matter of how you portray yourself, bookkeeping wise and business wise, what you call something. They do have him dead to rights on it, but it does look very petty. It does give them a lot of room to make a lot of talk, and they just gave him some great campaign bolster, as far as I can see, which is unfortunate.
And as far as I'm concerned, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care that it makes them look petty. Someone breaks the law, and when you're ready to go with the charges, you go with the charges. It doesn't matter when that is. I
Yeah.
mean,
It does, but here's the problem,
just
because
because
it
of
was
who
a
he is
president.
does
Yeah.
not mean he should not be charged.
Well, there you have it. That's the double-edged sword. Not only was he president at the time, or running for president at the time,
hmm
okay, it's also because it's Donald Trump. Because he's just trouble. Everybody knows you get into litigation with Donald Trump, you're throwing money away for a really long time. You better really have something, because they just fight tooth and nail. Listen, litigation and Trump are like peanut butter and jelly. I'm telling you, this is all
It's
he's
true.
done
It's
since the
true.
day he's been in business. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about reputation. He doesn't care about the business taking a hit reputation wise. He doesn't do things the right way. He does things his way, the
Right.
Trump way. Rules are just rules, and they're like, that's
Rules are
it.
for
Like
others.
they're
He's
for
done.
everybody else. Like he's like,
Right.
oh well, just find a way to get rid of that. Like we don't want to do it that way. We're going to do it this way, and he just plows through.
Yep.
He's got lots of people that like. Listen, lots of people don't like him, but he's just like a hornet's damn nest when it comes to legal. If you're going to be tangling with him legal, it's just going to be long and painfully expensive, and it's just going to, because they're ridiculous. I mean, and to prove that point, how many of his lawyers have been sanctioned just for filing crap recently, that the
Oh
courts are
yeah.
finally so pissed off? Like, are you serious? Even Florida, they're like, oh, you need to stop. Like right now, you need to just knock it off. Stop it. This is
Yeah.
ridiculous. You
No,
know
I
better than
agree.
this.
I agree.
Like, even on the documents
But
case.
he's not. Let's say he's not the only one who does business that way. He just isn't.
No.
There are others. I mean, and I won't mention a name, but his initials are EM, who is also, you know, you want to you want to, talk bad about me, then I'll sue you.
Mm-hmm.
You want to track my plane, I'll sue you. It's like, give me a break.
I get it. I get it. But, it just seems like it just rules for
Oh
rules
yeah,
for everybody else, but not for
uh,
me.
come on,
But
let's be honest. Anybody who has a net worth over $1 billion is going to be like that.
okay, because like when you have money, the option is to keep the money.
Exactly.
Basically, you do whatever you can
Yeah.
to just keep the money the best way that you can. No, I get it. And you can actually
And
afford
it's
to
an
do it that way.
unfortunate situation, but it is what it is.
Hmm. Oh, Michelle, I'm glad you brought that up. That is one of the things we wanted to talk about today, too. We wanted to talk about the ousted Tennessee
Oh, should
lawmakers.
we talk about our Tennessean brothers?
Our Tennessean brothers are both back instated. That was like
Don't
whoop,
forget our sister in there.
yeah, oh, yes. And tell me about it. Okay, now they waited on her, right?
Well,
Until she
here's what
starts squawking
let's
about, wait, what about me? Why aren't you picking
let's
on me?
start let's start from the beginning. It's all
Okay.
started with a horrible day at a certain school
Yes.
in Tennessee
Mm-hmm.
where 3 children, 9 years old, were gunned
Mm-hmm.
down, and 3 other adults were
And
gunned down.
and three other adults, right? And it was
Um,
violent and quick
and
and
and so pretty much the whole state of Tennessee um, began protesting, saying enough is enough. Our children should be safe to go to school. We need to change the way things are. Blah blah blah.
mm-hmm.
Well, the day that I mean, the Tennessee legislature wasn't going to have anything to do with that. Absolutely nothing. So descended upon the legislature were students and parents of students,
Mm-hmm.
and then 3 Democratic lawmakers
Right.
participated
Mm-hmm.
in the protest
Because, as a
while on the floor.
lawmaker, right, what while on the floor, and that was the one little thing that they
But
got them
we
on
have
because it was
seen
during
worse things
session.
happen on the floors
Oh, we saw it lit, yeah.
of
Mm-hmm.
many state legislatures. This was
Mm-hmm.
it was the only it was just a reason to get rid of them. So the Republican lawmakers decided, well, you 3 who spoke out against us not doing anything about this gun problem, we're going to expel you from
Right.
our from the
Mm-hmm.
House. We're just going to get
Right.
rid of you.
Right. And that
And
was
they
because
voted to
yep.
expel. Now,
Based on just the fact that where the protest was.
yeah,
See, they
2 young.
cannot stop them from protesting,
Well,
but
no,
they can use the regular like law of order of
yeah,
session,
well,
which is what they did. Like you help disrupt session,
two
and
two
that's
young
against the rules.
Democratic
Yeah.
legislators who
Pearson
are
and
African
Jones.
American
Mm-hmm.
were kicked out. Period. Just booted.
Mm-hmm.
While a 61-year-old white woman who also participated
And you know what? I can't
in this
remember her name.
demonstration,
I can
she
remember
was
Justin
told,
Jones. Yep.
or she
Go
was
on.
voted on expulsion, but they lost by a single vote.
Right.
Now, after that, when they were walking out and they asked her, why do you think you didn't get expelled when they did? And she looked dead
And she
set at
did.
the interviewer, dead set at the camera, and goes, do we really need to ask? I'm a
She did.
61-year-old white woman.
That's right. And oh, her name was Johnson because it was Justin Jones in Pearson and then Gloria Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And so, the Republicans think, oh, we've done our duty. And then
Yeah.
the
You know what?
council that oversees the districts where Pearson
And
and
Jones, Justin
Jones,
Jones. Mm-hmm.
Justin Jones council met last, I believe it was Wednesday,
Yeah. They
and voted him back in to the interim office.
Oh, that was Pearson got in first. Now Justin Jones just got
Okay.
back in today, I
So,
believe
well, he's
so.
going to get
Yeah.
back in today. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
he's been voted in yet. But anyway, so Pearson gets voted in 36-0. That includes both Republicans and Democrats who sit on that
Yeah.
council, all voted to put him back in the office. He'll have to run again for the special election, which I'm sure he will. I'm not sure anybody's going to really
Wow.
hold a candle to him. So he'll run again, probably win his seat back, and then the same thing's going to happen for Pearson, or Jones, um, who will
Oh,
be voted back
yeah.
in
I have it.
today.
Yeah,
So
I have it backwards. It was Jones that got in first last
ah,
week, like you said, and Pearson just got in today.
yeah,
Yeah, because it's Wednesday. Today was the day they were going to actually go vote. Because Lowry had announced that over the weekend, the chairman. So
right.
because they have to actually pick his successor, which is him. That's actually how it happens. Like, who are we gonna vote to replace his seat? Oh, okay, him. We're gonna put him back in his seat. That's how they did it, which is it's amusing. I think they're not even going the route of actually overturning what happened, which I think they really should have done, but they're doing it the quickest way, I guess. I don't know.
Apparently, the vote has happened.
Yeah, today the Wednesday vote happened,
Yeah,
and he just got
and
voted back in.
he's
Yeah.
back in as well.
Yeah,
So,
in his own seat. They literally just voted for him to replace himself.
yeah,
That's
basically.
what I'm saying. Yeah, instead of voting to overturn what happened, like it didn't exist, because they don't want to go against the rule of law. They don't want people disrupting. You see, here's the thing: they brought a bullhorn, so it did kind of look organized.
Oh,
So
come on. It
they
was
did
organized,
violate.
but
Yeah, they
who
did violate rule
cares?
of law. I mean, because that's how it is. Everybody's getting so upset about gun control. Like, really, it's that
I have
volatile.
a
Like,
question. I have
mhm.
this is a serious question.
Okay.
Why are the Republicans so set on having the Second Amendment apply to everybody? But when they found out, or when they thought this rumor of 87,000 IRS agents were armed, were they so up and armed?
Yeah. What? Because, like, shouldn't they? I mean, that was their
I
right.
mean,
They
it's their
should have all.
constitutional right to have arms,
I
right?
would think that if you were going to be an IRS agent, they should give you a gun. I
Yeah.
think they should. I mean, that is a
I
dangerous
think
job.
everybody who works for the government should be given an M16.
Apparently, that's the way it goes. But they were offended that the IRS agents had them. I don't know. Maybe they just like. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But thank you, Michelle. Yeah, I had the names all mixed up. I'm
Yeah.
glad you helped us out with that one, because I want to keep it straight, because it was like they both got voted in to replace themselves, like the quickest way, which is
And they'll
like,
both have to go through a special election
uh-huh.
to get their seats back
Mm-hmm.
permanently.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
again, it's just silliness that it had to
yeah,
happen like
but
that.
nobody's saying anything about what she said. Like, she just came right out and said it might have something to do with me being a 60-year-old white woman. She literally said that, quote unquote,
Yeah.
as to why she didn't get voted out. Although she admits to actually doing the exact same thing that both of them do. She's right there in the middle with her hands up. She's right there with the bullhorn. She's right there doing exactly what the other ones are doing. And she didn't get voted out. And they're not saying as much about that. Nobody wants to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, if you heard Jones's speech before the expulsion
Hmm.
vote, I could see why he might have gotten thrown out, but
Well, he was
I'm
a bit,
glad he
yeah,
did that speech. It was like,
but
we've got a former pedophile sitting over here,
he
and
did.
he's not been
He's just,
expelled.
yeah, he's like, excuse me, there are people here actually breaking criminal law on a regular basis, and they're still here. Okay. And yet I had the nerve to bring a bullhorn to a meeting and talk about gun control when kids died, and I'm out. Like, no, he's got a valid point. But like you say, it's all in like how you do it. Like, you can't be calling for, like, all right. Here's the problem I have. I understand, and I understand that things are getting really rough, and they just got to make their point the way they do. But it's hard to call for law and order while you're breaking law and order. You know what I mean? It's like,
Sometimes you
yeah.
have to have, and
Hmm.
this has always been one of the cornerstones of our freedoms, is to be able to passively protest.
Hmm.
And that was pretty passive considering.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, there
Mich-
wasn't a violent overtaking of the session. There were just people who were tired of having their children dying
mhm.
when they're supposed to be safe in school.
I mean, I can understand that, because I know myself, I speak on it all the time, how you have to talk to both sides, how you have to look at the whole issue. You have to have a real conversation to make this. When that happened, I was so mad. I was like, don't talk to me about it. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want it. I actually said to a whole group, I said it in my Discord. I think I even said it out here on YouTube. I said it on Twitter too. I said, don't even come at me with that. I feel so bad. Thoughts and prayers. I say, because I will puke. I will puke all over everybody because this is on all of us. This is on all of us. We're all frustrated that way. We all want something to be done, but then
But
nothing ever gets done.
nobody
Nobody's
has the
doing
balls to
anything.
do it.
Right. I said, now I email and I speak to people about it. I call representatives and I understand the frustration. They don't want to hear it. It's a useless thing. Even they are like, oh gosh, like make that the issue because there's nothing I can do about it. It seems like everybody feels that way. And as long as they do, nothing's going to get done. But here's the thing. We have countries all around us that have actually addressed the issue successfully. And they keep holding on to this amendment right. Like we're going to strip everything away from them. And I don't think reasonable gun control is stripping anything away from anyone,
No,
except for
not at all.
the right to kill anybody you want just for the hell of it, or that your rights seem to be more than those for people to actually live, like
Right,
innocent children,
right.
and
Yeah,
people just going about
I
their
have a problem when
business.
somebody
Yeah,
puts, high capacity rounds
right.
with an assault rifle into a
Yeah,
9-year-old
yeah. But here's the
who's
thing.
not doing anything.
Even when that had just happened and it was an assault weapon, let's get clear, okay? I'm not talking about taking every single person in the America's gun away. I
Nope.
am not, okay? But I go out Twitter and I talk about assault weapons and things that we could do. And all of a sudden I'm getting the Second Amendment showing them. And I'm just like, excuse me, show me where assault weapons, your right to have an AR-47 is in the freaking Second Amendment. Show me where it actually says that the average person walking down the road needs an assault weapon. Because you don't. That's not what it's about. You're skewing it for what you want, for your fear,
Exactly.
and that's not what
Exactly.
it is. Why can't you have a reasonable conversation about bringing it in a little bit, people? Every other country
They
has. And you
really don't want to hear my opinion on the Second Amendment because as far as I'm concerned, the Second Amendment was talking about having a military and not having military, and that's why we were going to allow you
it
to keep
was.
your
And you have
weapons.
to remember, and it's
And
kind of convoluted.
as
Mhm.
soon as we had a military, that should have just ended the Second Amendment argument.
It was, and it was the right to bear arms in a government to protect itself. And it was about how our country started, which
Yeah,
is we have to admit that we built inherently in our rules and regulations the fact that what we did with England wouldn't have been persecuted by people like losing their heads. Like if
right.
the people themselves are allowed to get together to say they would like to do it a different way, our whole government is functioned that way.
I
Okay,
agree.
against itself. Would you agree? Against itself.
Yep.
And it's made
No,
that way on
exactly.
purpose because of why we left England and why we came over here in the first place. Okay. Because um so of course there are things like that, like your right to protect yourself and your right to bear arms and the right to have speech and
And
this,
the
that.
right to
Right.
protest.
And the right to protest. And yes, you vote, and there's a system in place. But it doesn't mean that people's lives should be put at risk because you want
Uh,
to carry those sentiments too far.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Someone's personal liberties and rights and freedoms should not affect the greater good that way. Otherwise, we wouldn't have laws against so many of the things that we do to protect innocent people,
It's not
like
like this
children.
country has
Okay.
any public health laws like that have to do with like vaccinations
Hmm.
or anything like that.
Oh yeah, they push against that one
Oh
too.
gosh, wait a minute, we do. Your children can't go to a public school without
Oh,
their vaccinations. You
unless you
can't
got a
go
religious
overseas without
exemption.
your vaccinations.
You know what?
Christ, people.
In school now you can if you get a religious exemption, but it is harder to travel without them. I'll let you that because other countries get involved and go, I don't care how crazy you are over there. You're not coming in here like that. It's like,
Exactly.
at least they do. But yeah, it's crazy. We have. It seems like for every law that we have a way to get around it too, for sure. But I don't understand. Like you and
I
I
think
know
Churchill
I
has a
didn't
good
want to.
idea. We should just give every citizen a musket.
Right.
I
Because
mean,
by the time they learn to load it and not blow themselves up, because we've all seen the Coyote and Roadrunner stuff, right? Or Elmer Fudd, and every time he gets all the black all over his face because he didn't do it right. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. But
if you're not less than 10 feet in front of somebody, there's a good chance you're going to miss them. So,
exactly. Yeah. So I think that would slow things down. We
and if
might
you
not
think
have
people are
mass
going to wait
shootings.
for you to reload
Yeah.
your musket,
Mhm. Yeah. And
nah, it ain't going to happen.
mm,
They're going to get caught at that point.
yeah. You know what really, really offended me the most is that everybody's out there, "Oh, it's just another one. Like, why are you even speaking about it?" I said, "Just another one? Just another one?" That was 100. That was the 100th mass shooting we've had since January 1st this
Yeah.
year. Mass shooting, meaning of 4 or more involving assault weapons. Okay, not just like a pistol or
Yeah.
this, that. All right, there is no need, like, we could cut down the number of deaths just by saying you can't have those kind of clips to extend things. Just by saying you
No, no,
can't,
no, no. I'm not going there.
no,
Just get rid of assault weapons.
I
Period.
think you should in period. I don't think the average person needs them. I
I
really
don't
don't.
care. I don't care about how many rounds they carry in a mag. I don't care what kind of
Mhm.
buttstock they put on it. Assault weapon. Period. If that's an assault weapon, you don't own it. You
Right.
want an assault weapon? Join the military.
Mhm.
They'll be happy to give you an assault weapon and teach you how to use it.
Yep. I'm telling you, it's just a little. I've got everybody up in the afternoon. They're all like looking like we're crazy in the chat there.
That's okay.
Quiz. Like, yep,
We are
Charlie, look at
crazy.
us. We're up before dinner. Look at us. Look at us. And we're actually talking, Quiz and I. Look at that. Look, and we're doing something
Maybe
really,
we should
really
talk about
insane. We're talking
let's
about like politics, like
should we
stuff.
go to Texas
Oh gosh.
or
All right.
SCOTUS? Let's
You
go
want to
Texas
lose?
first.
Oh God.
Because
Okay.
this one really gets me. This one just
We're going to talk about the Supreme Court justice in Texas who now just okay. Wait a minute. Are
now
we actually wait?
he's a federal judge in Texas
Okay, so the federal judge in Texas. Okay, and
who
I
has
can't say his
decided.
name. Is that
Yeah,
because Kaza?
how
Say
about
it. I can't.
dumbass?
Well, that works, but they need to know who we're talking about, and I can't say his last name.
He's the federal
But
judge in Texas who recently decided that an abortion pill is illegal
based
because
on
it goes against his religious beliefs.
yes, and that now we the last time that we actually did one of these was around December, and we were both very concerned about what the Supreme Court was going to be doing as far as legislation, and because of it seemed like the Supreme Court, the federal Supreme Court, was leaning towards more their
Yeah,
personal
but they
beliefs instead of law when it came to
right.
equality in our country. We were talking about women's rights and LGBTQ rights and abortion bans in general, about autonomy and things like that. And then this guy actually comes out and puts in writing with a speech our biggest fear that yes, I admit it. It's not law that made my decision. I'm a federal Supreme Court justice, but it's
No,
not the
no,
law.
he's a
It is
federal
my
judge.
personal. It's my personal belief, my personal religious belief, and my personal belief about this that matters most. He actually said that. He said that's how he's going to be ruling on it, not law. I've got a problem with that because I
I have a
thought
problem that the appellate court that oversees him has yet to say anything about that.
that is like that
Because
might be the case.
that should been an immediate censor. I mean, just shut the hell up.
Like, why would you even say that? Why would you even say that? Okay. It's just, oh,
It is absolutely crazy to me that these people are doing these kind of things. And what was even more amazing is then another federal judge in another state ruled that it was okay to have these abortions.
okay. I'm going to try to,
So
I'm going to, yeah.
we have two opposing, and here's what happens. So if y'all wonder what's going to happen next, since they're two opposing and they're from different district courts, federal district courts, they bypass the appeals court and they go straight to the Supreme Court for a decision.
Yeah, but
That's how it is.
it
You
is.
each other's appeals court is not going to chime in
Mhm.
because there's now an issue between two district courts. And it's always been that when there are issues between two district courts, it goes directly to Supreme Court. It gets heard immediately.
Well, so it's on the roster then. You're
Oh, it's
saying that
yeah.
it's not. It's so basically, and I'm going to try to say his name, and I apologize if I like mangle it, but it's Matthew Kaczmarek, is the judge, the U.S. District Judge
Like I said,
in
Matthew
Texas.
Dumbass Casimir.
Kaczmarek. Is it Kaczmarek? Okay, because and here's the thing: it's not like that drug hasn't been used for 20 years, and it's not like the U.S. FDA, which is also a federal government got processes, didn't actually make that decision for the greater good. There's no studies to say why they shouldn't. He's finding some loophole in the process from 20 years ago to push forward his personal agenda, and I'm I'm a bit offended by that. Okay, because now this drug has been around for 20 years. He's not citing the dangers of the drug. He's stating that, well, you didn't take enough time to do this or that in the beginning and it shouldn't be out there. He's not saying anything about it being safe or not. It's because of what they're using it for. He's using personal belief to get rid of it. And he's admitted it. And I've got a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's a serious problem. So they can go back 20 years and decide, well, since we decided that abortion isn't something that we're going to sanction, we're going to go back to all of this stuff that happened prior and rejudge everything. And that shouldn't be happening. That should not be happening.
Well, we knew this was happening. We knew this was going to happen.
Okay,
I mean,
but all
when
right.
Roe versus Wade took a dive, that shouldn't have been overturned, but it was.
Okay. But
And
this
now
is
you're going to get every single court in every single state decide their own way.
but here's the problem. When you allow a judge, okay. All right. First of all, I don't want everybody comment on this. We have to agree that the FDA does have some scientific expertise and studies behind them when they do this
Yes.
shit. They're not doing it randomly. They're not just putting shit out. They're all things that they have to go through.
Yes.
Okay.
And
But a
even though they
judge,
asked for
Mhm.
the early approval, it doesn't mean that they didn't do their due diligence.
Mhm. But he's trying to say that the due diligence resulted in many deaths. No, it didn't. Not unless you're counting the abortions.
Yeah.
That's the
Well,
problem.
here's
Is that they're not being very clear about why they're going against it.
there's
Okay.
another underlying issue here that I haven't seen anybody talk about. If you're going to yell at the FDA about getting early access for drugs to the people, that means vaccines are going off the market.
That means we couldn't have, like, we just did it with the pandemic. Use the same FDA regulations that speed things up.
There's also cancer drugs that get approved that way. There's heart
Exactly.
drugs that get
Yep.
approved that way.
Exactly.
There's antipsychotic drugs that get approved that way. So all of those, if
We
this holds up, all of those
right.
would have to be taken
Mhm.
back and given due diligence again.
Well, here it is.
Wow.
How does he make one statement that says that the use of that medication is actually starving a life? Okay. He's actually put his personal belief into
He
all of this
has.
and not
Oh,
one single.
yeah.
Here's the thing. You're allowing a judge to come forward with no scientific expertise, overruling an agency that has all of the studies without presenting a single fact or study or anything. In that 67 pages that he did, it was all just
This is how I feel. God is good. God is great. Fuck you all.
I'm gonna
I'm
do
gonna hate.
whatever. I'm
Whatever.
gonna hate. I'm gonna Yep, that's it. I'm really upset about it because it has never been proved to be a dangerous drug, unless of course you upset with what they're using it for. Of course, it prevents the implantations. It prevents
Oh, no.
viability. Okay, but if they're going to get into that, like, there's not even law on their side for that, on when actual life is concerned legally.
Right.
Okay, there. They can't call those deaths legally. They
Well,
cannot.
I'm
Yeah. But
I
apparently a
don't want to get
judge doesn't care about the law
yeah
enough in his 67-page summation there onto why he's doing this. He doesn't care about the law whatsoever.
right.
Like I didn't
Well,
see any case
again,
law in there. Yeah.
you get and I apologize if I offend you for this or anyone else, but when you get the religious right into positions of power and they
Hmm.
begin to lean upon their fantasy of a sky daddy and everything that is said in a book that was written 2,000 years ago is the truth, we've got problems and we're going to continue to have these problems
Yeah, but we've got laws that prevents that, and what I don't understand is why that's just being completely ignored.
because the
We
Supreme Court clearly stated that there shouldn't be a separation of church and state.
and that's a problem.
Of course it's a problem.
They're not supposed to force anything on
And
anyone, and it's supposed to be
speaking
legal,
of that,
paramount. Hmm.
we've got another judge.
Oh
This
gosh.
one's in Washington, D.C.
Are we talking Tom? Are we talking Clarence?
Clarence, baby. And probably
Clarence
the best evil name that you could come up with.
Crow? Harlan
Harlan
Crow?
Crow.
Doesn't it sound like a bad novel character, like the
It
evil
is a
villain?
villain
It's a
made out
villain,
of,
right? Like
I'm
Harlan
Harlan
Crow.
Crow.
I know. I
I
know.
will
He's great.
seduce you with my money.
Okay, Charlie's canceling us and unsubscribed, and he muted us. Charlie.
Oh, well.
Oh. It does sound like a Batman villain. It does.
Doesn't
It
it though?
does. Yes.
Harlan
Right.
Crow.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not the villain, actually. Okay. Again, he's a man who saw an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he is. He offered luxury vacations for Clarence Thomas and his wife. He offered his resort home in Texas for Clarence Thomas and his wife. Not once, not twice, not three times, not four times, but at least 5 separate occasions. He offered his own private jet for them to fly to these places, whether they were in country or out of country. And Clarence Thomas, being the most ethical justice ever,
Oh, yes, because like there
accepted all of them.
okay, because like when you say the word ethical, and then I try to remember like when he actually got sworn in, like and all of that crap. Like, no, I don't think we could use the term ethical and Thomas in the same sentence. I think that they actually made that clear from the start, didn't they? Like, no, no. I
And
refuse. We're not putting ethical and Clarence Thomas in the same
and
sentence.
here's the
No.
problem, and most people don't understand the problem with this is it isn't that he took these trips.
Mm,
That's that's not
nope.
against the law. I'm
Nope.
not sure how it's not against the law, but it's not. What's against the law is he never disclosed them financially on his financial forms.
Yes, he says, like, "Well, I could take all the gifts I want," but, like, yes, that's true.
The
That's
the
true,
law clearly
Justice
states that if
Thomas.
it's over $450,
You
you
should,
have to declare them.
because there's such a thing
As a
about
public official, you have to declare
exactly.
these things.
There are
Now,
such laws on the
his
tax law that even if you barter a gift back and forth, whoever actually got the greater gift is supposed to, whatever the overage is, pay taxes on it, even if it's
Thomas's
barter.
last vacation out of country was 9 days
Mm,
in I forget what I think was it Thailand or Philippines or somewhere. But anyway, it was just 9 days and it comes up to a staggering total of a half a million dollars.
wow.
That's a hell of
That's
a
a lot of
vacation.
tax money, like, for the deficit that we could have had, that, there's a little money we could have used in the deficit. Just saying. Just
Oh, I'm
saying,
just saying
Thomas.
that, he did this for 5 decades.
Mhm. You would think as a
Wow.
cog in the great federal machine that you would want to pay your taxes. Like,
And you would want to, disclose your financials like you're
mm.
supposed to.
Oh no. See, like, no, no. Transparency? Oh, we
So
wouldn't. No. Oh God.
everybody's probably going to ask next is, well, can they do anything about it? The
Un-
answer
you
is
know,
yes
and
and
no.
no.
Because
In
There's
order
no
to
regulatory committee for the
No,
Supreme
that's not
Court.
it. In
Yeah.
order to get him out of office, if he doesn't leave voluntarily, he would have
Hmm.
to be impeached,
He
and
wouldn't
then he
leave
would have to get
voluntarily.
uh, sent to the Senate for punishment, and the punishment could be that they expelled him out of the Supreme Court. But now that the Republicans hold the majority in the House of Representatives and the Democrats
It's not going to
barely
happen.
hold the majority in the
Right.
Senate, it ain't happening. It won't even come up. Not even going to be thought of. So here's a man, and who's going to catch him? Isn't our House of Representatives? Isn't the Senate? It's going to be the IRS
Hmm.
because he went out and admitted on national TV, yeah, I did it. Okay, keep your mouth shut, dude, because now the IRS can say, well, you admitted to it, so let's go see what you owe us.
Right. Exactly. But it's not going to happen because they're going to say that they're just targeting him. They're going to say politically it's just because like he's
Again,
Republican or
what
we're
does
trying to
it matter
mess with
if
the
they're
Supreme
targeting
Court.
him? He did a crime and in office.
And he is admitting it. He's
I
just
mean,
saying,
come
and
on.
he's actually coming out and saying there's nothing you can do about it. So,
You know, if I walked
yeah.
into the police station and said, "Well, I killed that person on Third and Bolt and River Street last night," I'd get arrested if somebody died
Mhm.
on Third and River and
Exactly.
it was a
Mhm.
homicide. They would
Mhm.
arrest me right then and there.
Right. Well, that's just the thing. It's the entitlement and it's the hiding behind everything and just saying too bad. Like too bad, you know? And so if
Yeah,
you do try to do anything about it, they're
I'm in a
saying they're
position of authority, and
persecuted.
you can do
Yeah.
nothing to me.
Right. Because, he has been quite contrarian. He's come out and he
Hmm.
spoke about a lot of things. He's the one who came out and said he was going to look at the Marriage Equality Act. He's going to be looking at all the rights that people shouldn't have.
Yep.
Like, and I can't believe that came out of like his mouth. Like rights people shouldn't have. Like, what rights are you talking about that
Well, you know,
people
the right
shouldn't
to
have?
interracial marriage too.
Oh, yeah, of
Oh
course he's not
wait,
going to go against that one. Like, no, no, of course not. He wants to get rid of all of these equality rights, but not the ones that made it equal for him to be there.
exactly.
Yeah, no, not that one. Just the women. Okay, you can't do what you want with your own bodies, and you can't do whatever. And just like LBGQ, you can't marry who you want.
Can't
No.
love who you want.
Although that
Nope.
protects him too a bit because there are still states that don't look at that too great.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're right. You're right.
It's a little personal, but this is the thing.
Yeah, I mean,
What
there's the Texas um, lieutenant governor
Mhm.
wants to bring back the sodomy laws.
That kind of makes it very difficult for the equality laws that are already in
I'm
place,
like, you're
doesn't
gonna
it?
bring me? Are you
Okay.
gonna arrest the straight people who practice sodomy too? I'm just asking
But
because
but but here's
it's
the
not
thing.
just an
Here-
LGBT thing.
What the scariest part about that is that it'll be successful because of the way they're weaponizing um pet, they're weaponizing injury to a protected class like children. They're using fear of what happens to kids to get all of this shit passed. It's been quite concerning for me to watch, but they are actually weaponizing that and they're getting reasonable people to sign on board with them, not realizing what they're actually doing is just stripping rights away from individuals on another level. The percentages of things that are happening are not what they say.
And
Nobody's checking
I,
into it. It's
I
just like
need to say this.
they're fanning the
Yeah,
flames of fear.
I need to say this.
Mhm.
I fully agree that we need to protect children. I think
I do too.
you should probably think about gun laws before
Mhm.
anything else. But sex crimes against children, the majority of sex crimes committed against children are not
Mm.
done by LGBT
Nope. Middle-aged white
people.
men,
It is
entitled
straight
ones,
white men who are
straight white
seeking
men.
power.
Mhm. Exactly.
That's all.
And
So
mhm. Who
you're
are the major aggressors of all SA in the country?
exactly. But hey,
Okay.
blame. Why you want to blame the LGBT for that is beyond me.
because
But
they need a target, they need a way to get their agenda through. They need religion in there.
I'm going
They
to tell you,
need it.
we're just going to have to make some more gay frogs and go down to Texas.
I think that's it. Like, there's just not enough frogs. I really think. I really think that that's the answer. Because, like, we could, like, you could stuff up all the all the assault weapons with frogs. Like,
Yep.
we could.
Fire the gay
We just
frogs
have more frogs.
into
Fire
Texas
the
and
gay frogs into
watch
Texas.
everybody turn gay.
Is it? It's like, can you imagine if Texas went gay? Like, it just cracks me up. Just the thought of it is like, what? I mean, would there be like a new law that your Spurs has to be pink? I don't know. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, how are we gonna know? Really? I'm telling you
Well,
this. How do we
speaking
know
of
now?
saying
I think
gay,
I think all this fear that they have is the problem. All this fear, like, about other lifestyles and like
yeah,
our way or the highway, that's causing all of this. And they're weaponizing fear quite successfully in our country right now to get things done. And that to me is terrifying. That is terrifying how that's happening. I see friends every day that I know to be reasonable, educated, very intelligent people just buying into this
mm,
weaponization of
yeah,
children, or just using children to get the agenda through, and it's pretty scary. And yet they won't do it for gun control. I don't understand. Like, it should actually work for gun control because the statistics are there on deaths of children for gun control. When they have to look at it, look, what is the primary cause of death in America for children, and they have to have
this
guns
year
on the
or
list.
yeah,
I
this
mean,
past year
that's
it has been guns.
okay.
It
That's a
has been
problem.
shootings.
That's a
But
problem that needs to be looked at.
again, we
Yes.
can't touch that.
No, see, that's what drives me crazy. Is like,
Yeah,
they
I
won't go
agree.
where the statistics really are, but they'll say
No,
that somebody
no,
wearing a flamboyant outfit is instigating and causing problems with children more, when there's
yeah,
not a percentage of it. Yes, there are things like that that happen. I'm not going to say that it doesn't, because of course, they're going to pull up this article or that thing that happened, but the percentages aren't there. Show me the actual big statistics on this stuff. You're fighting against this little tiny blob when we've got this big major issues that need to be addressed prime first.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh
And
yeah.
and just weaponizing the fear of it because they don't want to talk about the other things. Like, it's
So
just
let's not
insane.
talk about don't say gay in Florida.
Oh, can we talk about DeSantis now? Like, don't say gay. Don't say gay.
Florida.
Don't say gay in Florida. Like, don't. Like,
Yeah.
nope. DeSantis
And
is
if you
going to get there.
do, and if you do, a certain Florida governor might try and take your power away.
Yep.
So
He's
Ron
gonna.
DeSantis hitting back at Disney for Disney supporting of the don't or for Disney being in strong opposition to the Don't Say Gay bill, decided that he was going to fill the Reedy Creek board with his people and shove out all the
Mhm.
Disney employees.
Right, because there's like two towns that Disney is actually located in there, and they've actually regulated all of the building permits and
Hmm.
all of the land rules and regulations in the area. And DeSantis just decided to make an over committee that's going to take over everything, and that
Yeah,
Disney
and how
has
did that
come
work?
before now.
What
Yeah.
happened? I know that
Um,
they assigned the new members, but something happened in between.
I think they just like voted it out. I think they just like,
The
they just
Reedy
said,
Creek
"Boop."
board held
Mhm,
meetings legally
mhm.
with sunshine laws legally that basically said all the power that we have, we're just giving over to Disney
Yep, and let them regulate themselves.
and they can regulate themselves. And this will last until the last surviving child of King Charles dies, and after 21 years past that.
Oh, okay. So
So it's
okay,
almost, if you think about it,
forever.
well, no, it's almost 100 and some years.
Well, Disney should be able to find another way in
And
that
I'm
time.
thinking, and I'm thinking to myself,
I thought it was quite clever that they pulled that out,
how did
though.
these people out politic a politician?
Well, okay, I get two answers for that. Do you want them?
I want them both.
A, Florida. B, DeSantis?
That's true. But
Okay.
nobody was paying attention
No,
when Rudy Creek decided to hold these meetings. They just figured, oh, they're just doing a last gasp. Well, here's our last gasp. So now DeSantis has decided, well, fine, you want to play that way. We're going to tax and put road tolls on the roads.
mhm. And nobody. Yep. And the people are really going to want that. Like the
Because, yeah,
Tories,
I mean,
everybody.
especially the people who are visiting have to pay
Yeah.
the road tolls.
It does make him look pretty bad because here he is. He's supposed to be doing what's best for his state. Okay. And you got to admit, if you've got Disney in your state, you got tourism, you got a lot of people that visit there. I mean, come on. Like you've
Not
got
only
some
that,
revenue coming in from
but
Disney.
you
You
know,
can't deny it. You
as
can't deny it.
Disney was, overseeing all of this, I would like to know what their budget was to maintain those roads because they are beautiful roads going into Disney.
Mhm.
And now all of those will have to be maintained by the state. So I'm not sure that this was a good thing for Florida. I mean, now suddenly they're going to get hit with another however many millions of dollars it takes to oversee those roads, keep them maintained at the same level that they were maintained by Disney. I'm sure Disney just said, "Oh, you want that cost? Here you go. Have fun with it." Even if you do put tolls on the roads, you're
Mhm.
not going to make enough to cover the cost of maintaining the roads. And if I know Disney, they're going to give their every single employee who has to pay the toll as they go in and out every day. They'll just reimburse them.
Hmm.
It'll just make it part of their pay package.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it won't cost them as much. So Disney wins overall. I
Yeah.
mean, DeSantis
Well,
needs to understand he took a big L. He needs to shut up and move
he does.
on.
And this is big for DeSantis because he often goes against any business in his state that he considers woke. In other words, voting against his Republican agenda for any reason. That's his version of woke, by the way. If you just
Yeah.
reasonable. Okay, so if you vote for equality or anything like that, like he's like, you're problematic because what he's trying to do, let's be clear here, they've got to take the influential advertisers and money for the other side. They've got to limit it as much as they can in the periodly. So if big companies like Disney are out there saying, hey, we don't support this, we don't support that, it is influential and it
Can
does go
be.
against them. And then what they're trying to do is strong arm any way they could anybody talking on the other side. And that, to me, I'm always against that because,
Doesn't
like,
that
even
make him more Nixonian than anything else?
exactly. Well, and for that, they really take this stuff personally because the biggest thing is like even Republicans are now like, well, thank you, DeSantis, you idiot. Because now everybody's going around saying like Mickey Mouse just like gave you the big L. Like
Mm.
fucking Mickey Mouse did it. Like, come on. You look ridiculous. Like that wasn't even a fight you should have had.
You know what would be interesting is if Disney decided they needed to close for 2 years to go do overall maintenance on everything in the park
Mhm,
and
exactly.
just watch as Florida goes, but what about that revenue money? Well, we're not getting any
Yeah.
revenue money.
Yeah.
Sorry, for the next
Yeah.
2 years, we're not
Yeah.
giving you shit.
Yeah, could you like it? Yeah, could you like go ask DeSantis where it is? Like yeah, he might know what happened to it. And go ask him. But no, but this is how he's been doing it though. DeSantis, this isn't his first one. He's done quite a few others too, like all over the state. But he definitely got outmaneuvered this time for sure. And I'm hoping that other people will fight back even more.
Well, we hope. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's all we can do because DeSantis has announced a
Yeah.
not an exploratory committee yet, but he has announced a treasurer for a possible exploratory committee.
You know what?
Hmm.
You know what's really funny is that DeSantis says he had no idea that was going on. But here's the thing. Now, what DeSantis tried to do, he did all in secret behind the fact. Like he
Yeah.
just tried to slam it at you with this whole committee and everything. He did it all about behind the scenes. Okay. Disney did everything they did right out in the open,
Above
like
board.
right out above board, right out in the open. And everybody's going, so how did you not know this wasn't coming? Like, how did you know? How did you not know that this was losing proposition for you? Like, really, you know? Eh, mm. But because, Disney did try to work this out with them beforehand. There were definitely stuff going on. It's DeSantis that just wanted to fight no matter what. He was not negotiating. Okay.
Oh,
Mm.
well, it looks like our favorite news channel, Fox,
Mm-hmm.
has been sanctioned
Oh,
for
wait.
withholding evidence.
In
It
which, oh,
just
wait,
came out today.
wait. In which case is this? Wait a
The
minute.
Dominion lawsuit.
We were just talking about that
Yeah.
before. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
there's some good judges still out there, so but
wow. Yay. This
A,
Dominion, I don't know about you guys in the chat, but Quiz and I both think this Dominion lawsuit stuff is really going to be shaking stuff up all over the place,
oh yeah.
everywhere.
Fox is definitely
Everybody's name.
going. I mean,
Yeah.
Rupert Murdoch is gonna have to declare bankruptcy and sell Fox off.
Yeah.
Just sell them. And I wouldn't be surprised, Charlie, tell me if I'm right, Jen, that Fox News would be sold off as an individual product. Fox Sports would be sold off as an individual product. And I don't
Is
think there's
it?
anything else.
I don't know, but is Fox the conglomerate? Would they what they have to separate to be able to sell it, right? Like they've got to sever ties. But if you're already in an investigation, will they allow that? Like is Fox Sports totally separate from it? Like I don't know. I guess Rupert would know. Like it's his
Rupert will
business, I guess.
know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
let's
guess.
get Rupert to come talk to
Had
us.
has Rupert? Yes, like yeah, sure. Has
That poor
Rupert
man.
actually said anything about Fox Sports lately? He hasn't. He said a lot
No.
about Fox News lately, and
The
he's
only thing
distancing himself.
he said about
Yeah.
anything that mattered is he is not going to get engaged now.
Hmm.
After a judge demanded he show up at the trial for Dominion. And they said, well, one of the reasons he can't is he's old and infirmed. And the judge is like, he just announced a frickin' fiance of 20 some years old. I'm not sure he's as old as infirmed as you say.
Yep.
And a week later, Rupert cut it off.
Hmm.
Oh, you gotta admit, that's pretty funny.
You want a little tidbit of just like little extra information on DeSantis? This is kind of like for
Let's get
me
it.
the
Let's get Ronnie
hypocrisy.
done.
Okay, well, he says like that they are like just woke, and there's some
Oh,
kind of
yes.
woke mind virus, and he doesn't want to have anything to do with them. And Disney is what's wrong with America. But did you know that he got married there himself, like
Oh, isn't that
in
sweet?
2009? Like,
But that was before they were woke. That
oh
was
no,
during the Obama years when no one was woke.
no one was woke during the Obama years at all. Like that's it. Okay, but they're so woke with the virus. He didn't worry about catching that virus while he was out there getting married in Disney, celebrating.
Yeah,
What do you know?
it happens.
Hmm. I don't
So,
know. But he's got a lot of things. He did all that stuff with the immigrants, and everybody was quite offended about that. But
they were,
legally, there's
but he
really
didn't do
not
anything
much.
illegal. Is the problem?
That's the
Okay,
problem. Everyone is
they
like,
could kind of get him on the whole fraud issue
mm-hmm,
that he made fraudulent claims to those immigrants getting on the planes. But that would be absolute pettiness going after him for that.
mm-hmm, yeah.
But really, I mean, anyway, I think we all see the kind of person Ron DeSantis would be as a president if he was
Well,
ever given that opportunity.
well, the thing is that he is making a lot of headways because he does do a lot of the contrarianism that Trump was using. He is using a lot of it that way, but he's also politically better connected than Trump ever was. Okay, and that's seriously a problem because he's giving a lot of power to when we look at like those that are a little outspoken and a little like too much, a little bit like
Hmm.
what I would call a little more extremist on that side,
Right.
um, he is adding a lot of weight to it. It is why people are getting positions, in the Senate and in the committees and everything that we all consider like part of the craziness, just a little too far. Like I prefer my politics kind of middle of the road so things can get done. Because when you've got like complete extremists on the left and the right, nobody talks and nothing gets done. Like everything just gets stalemated or crazy stuff comes up. None of the real issues get addressed.
Yep.
Well, he does have a lot of weight, and I do not want to see him on the ticket, to tell you the truth. But
I don't either.
I don't see
Uh,
how that's going to be preventable, actually.
but if it has to be, I would love to see him and Trump running against each other.
Hmm.
Um, DeSantis as the Republican nominee, Trump running independently, and at this point, find me somebody that's not a complete and utter
Hmm.
bland vanilla pudding to run against them, who will actually do something, who won't think about I need to do 8 years instead of 4. I mean, just have somebody with an agenda go in there and push that agenda hard instead of this we all need to get along crap. Come on. They're making
Mm.
absolutely, the Republicans are making absolutely no effort to get along with the Democratic Party
No, they
in
don't.
office. Neither of them are making efforts. So,
No.
you know, get somebody in there who will push it, who will hold weekly press conferences and, bring up these issues and let the American people know that, your government is stalling because
Hmm.
the people you voted in. So,
Indeed. It's we're seeing a lot of firsts like right now. So I'm wondering, like, wouldn't I was just hoping that if DeSantis does decide to run and Trump is deciding to run, that the Republican caucus becomes such a freaking mess that somebody with a reasonable brain just comes in there and steals all the votes. Like somebody actually willing to talk to the other side, still having their Republican views and this and that, but
Greg
just
Abbott,
willing. That would be decent. Like, would he would at least talk to
excuse
people, I
me,
think. No.
governor from
Would he?
Texas.
Oh, no. No, not him. Oh, no, no, no. I was thinking this. Oh, God. No, not him. Oh, you got me. He just got me to say something really stupid on YouTube. I'm going to be skewered. No, no, not the Texas governor. No, no. You might as well
I mean,
put
you're
Frank
right,
Merrick
but
in
there
there.
needs to
Mm.
be.
No, but a reasonable. Wouldn't it be nice if some underdog just came in and just
It would
stole
be
all the
nice if we
votes?
could find a middle of the road Republican.
And believe me, I want the same thing on the left. I'm not
I
being
want a
biased
middle
here.
of the road Democrat
I
to
don't
run
want
as well.
another I don't want another 90-year-old president, please.
No,
I don't.
no, I
Okay.
agree.
And I don't want anybody that's actually run before. I don't. Don't stick any of those has-beens up there for me because things need to change. Like I really do want to see somebody, I don't know, call me crazy, a little bit younger, a little bit fresher, a little bit willing to talk to the other side, to shake things
Hmm.
up a bit. And not of this. The last thing I want to hear is politics as usual. Like that's just the way it
Right,
is. I'm just
right,
so tired of everybody telling me I just have to accept it because, oh, don't worry about it. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, you're just going to have to accept it. Like, just stop. And I'm like, no, I still have a headache. I can't stop. You know, I still think I should be calling my representatives and emailing them and telling them what I think the big issues are. Because I don't know. I don't want to think it doesn't matter that much. I know it's really an uphill climb. I get it. It's frustrating, but I still stand behind your local vote is your loudest vote. And if you can get your local representatives to present what you are thinking and everyone else is thinking in your area, then you got a better shot at getting that to grow and be bigger and actually be counted as to what our country actually believes. Although we have seen that that's been difficult because
right.
we know that 70% of people believe that you should have a choice on anything to do with these abortion rights. Okay. And yet, they're going to leave it to the states. And some of the states are reasonable and some aren't. Oh, but at least it's locally about what those people are thinking, where they live. Um, still. I think we do need some federal guidance on it.
I agree. I agree. So,
Uh,
um,
yes, Wrecker, I hear you. I hear you. Hey, Hulk Skull, good to see you. What's going on here? Oh, did you make a
Milky's here.
message? Mm. Hey, Milky said, ban all Americans. I said, you need us, Milky, even if it's just for the jokes. If there were no
Yeah, Milky,
Americans,
what
what
would
would
you
you
do if
do?
there was another European war?
Yes. Well, like, you need us. Like, stop it, Milky. I'm all for. And now he's done it. He's banning rap music. Go ahead, Wrecker. You can have him. Milky's yours. Don't feed the otters. Take the strawberries away. Throw some otters in there. That'll take care of that strawberry silly ass, like right there. Like, don't worry about it. Like, Milky, you you did it now. No, I know. Yay for the plant killing meteor. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. He's like, oh no. But no, actually I do. I want somebody less like trying to go their own agenda. But
Mm,
I realize it's politics. I realize I'm being silly, you
yeah.
know.
No, I
No,
agree.
Milky, I do not want AOC for president. I'm not that crazy. But Michelle, Jamie Raskin, I could do that. What do you think? What do you think, Quiz? Jamie Raskin from the January 6th
Okay.
committee.
How do I say this?
Hey, I wanted Cheney, but they kind of killed her
Can
career because
somebody
she had the
tell me
nerve.
why he's
Yeah.
wearing those bandanas all the time?
I don't care about his bandanas. Jamie Raskin's like he's a reasonable person. I mean, listen, I don't vote
I'm just
for
wondering why he has those
if
damn
we vote
bandanas.
if we vote fashion sense, nobody would get into office. Come on. Like nobody would get into office if we had to vote on fashion sense or personal habits or the way they speak. I mean, come on. I mean, I remember the days when George Bush Jr., okay, when Jr. opened his mouth and I died of embarrassment because of how he spoke. And I thought that was the worst thing I had to worry about is that he didn't use the right words when he spoke in public, but he was a generally personable person and made a lot of friends internationally. You know, and I don't know. Yeah, I know he's not well, Michelle, but I still want him. Um,
Oh, so he does have cancer, is what you're
he
telling me.
does. Yes, he does. He does. Yep.
And what is the hmm what is the outlook of his cancer? Oh God, Milky. No. No.
No, no more of them. Milky, we're gonna have to make a resolution to send them all to your country. Like, don't you want to have the Bush country
talk
now? Like,
talk
come on.
about
Right,
another
yeah.
another bland president.
Turtle Move said
That
guns
would be
don't kill
milk toast
people.
right there.
Rap.
Milk toast.
Yeah, don't. All right. Okay. Don't go on the rap, people. Like, that's not fair. Don't do that. Like, nope, 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 nope. First of all, we can't be American, and now we can't have rap. This is not like you're infringing on my personal freedoms now, people. That's it. I'm gonna have to get upset. Like, that's it. Nope. That's right, Maya. Like, forget it. Like, no, not the Rolling Stones. They're already embalmed, Robski. We're not allowed to have an embalmed president, Robski. That would be like, although kind of we do, and we have.
How about Jon Stewart?
Oh my God. You know what? Have you ever thought of what it would be like if Jon Stewart actually ran for an office?
Well, at least he would give you an honest answer.
He would, but like he's got that news show out and he's trying to have intelligent conversation and no one will have it. They're all like just saying the same stuff. Like, we just can't do anything about that. We just like, there's no, wait, nope, nope.
If you haven't seen
Sean,
Jon Stewart's new stuff, please go out and watch him.
yeah,
It
he's
is
great.
enlightening to hear the right wing extremists being interviewed.
Oh, I'm sorry,
And I
Jin.
mean those that are in office, and when they're asked about certain things that they can't answer and they make up lies right in front of him, he just flat out calls them liars right to their face.
Yeah, he does. It's kind of, but he's always done that. I've loved Jon Stewart. I'm sorry, Jin, but I like Jon Stewart. I want to see him. I want to see more Jon Stewart, but then again, I want to see more Keith Olbermann. Like, now you can really come for me, people. Go ahead.
Did you
Because,
just
like,
say
I want to
Keith
see.
Olbermann?
I did. I did. I want to hear a little bit
Well,
more
that's in
about.
the stream. I got some things to
Okay, I'm
cancel.
sorry. I'm sorry. Not. I don't agree with everything he says, because I don't. Like, don't say that I agree with everything he says, but he's right to say it. Like, come on. I mean, I do
He has a
kind of.
right to say it.
But
I agree with that
yep,
much.
yep. And just like and I don't know. I just like. He's a great interviewer, but his political ideas are a bit too far right for me. They are right, they are left, they are all over the place. I agree with you, Jin. But he does have some good points about like some elimination of government and like putting government where it actually needs to be. Like that kind
Yeah.
of stuff I can get behind him with. But I do agree, Jin. He's extreme. But if I'm going to have to deal with an extreme on the other side, I might as well. You know what I
But
mean? Yeah.
one thing I agree with the Republicans is small government.
I do. I want
I
it to
agree
like
with that.
more
If you
effective.
could get away with having small government, and them not giving a fuck about what people do because that's small government, I would
Mhm.
vote for them. I mean, I'd vote for some of
Mhm.
them, but that's not what
Mhm.
they mean. What they mean by small
Mhm.
government is our party is okay to do anything they fucking please, while the majority of you all aren't. We're the small
Exactly.
government, and you're all just fucked.
Exactly. They yeah. But there is, it takes so much to try to deconstruct it down to like where government would actually be needed or not. But that's because we didn't do enough to protect, enable like equality in the beginning with our amendments, with our constitution and everything. If we had certain things in there, a lot of it wouldn't be necessary. You know what I mean? Like
No, you're
a
right.
lot of the special regulations that we have in place, for if you just took like one statement, like we are capitalists, we know that, like that's how our company, yeah, our
Our
country
country.
is run. But if we just made one simple little thing, they'd said, like in the pursuit of economy, you are not allowed to actually purposely damage the population. That would do a lot. You know how many
Well,
regulatory
no, no,
committees
no,
you
no.
would
Hold
have
on.
to shut down? No.
You know how many good lawyers will kill you on that?
Yeah, but like you wouldn't
What
be
is
able to
that?
poison the water or.
You'd have to define what do you mean by harm the economy or
Well,
harm
we
the
would have to
people?
get specific. We would have to get
Yeah,
specific. How about
too specific
poisoning?
again.
How about
Then you're growing the
poisoning the
government
water?
once more.
Wait, how about poisoning the water? How
And now
about
you've
putting
got to
out
go in with, well, what is poison?
the poison's the stuff that kills people, quiz.
But
Like
some
that.
poisons can easily be filtered out through the sands. So are you really poisoning the water? You see how a good lawyer is going to make that go
Yes.
forever.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
could.
it's nice to be able to say,
I get
here's
it.
here's
It's the
one thing.
difference between reasonable effort and
Yes,
ridiculousness. I say if they had no means to protect from poisoning the water in place and the water got poisoned, they're guilty. Boom. Add a bit
they're
like that's
guilty of
it.
poisoning the water.
If
Yes,
they had right, then they're guilty of poison. If they have reasonable things and it failed, I do agree there should be some protections there for them as long as they admit that shit happens and they are, because shit happens, just as responsible to help clean it up as the government is.
but
Don't
we
make it
are
everybody
getting
else's
very close
problem.
at that point to legislating morality.
Mhm.
We really are.
We
Um,
really need to, because
eh,
like you gotta hold it. Like shit happens. Like I'm sorry, business, if you did accidentally poison the water and you didn't do it with intent, that doesn't mean you get to walk away. It still happened. Everybody
yeah,
has to deal with the fact that it still happened, and you were there, so you are gonna have to contribute. Don't pull that bullshit like you can't legally, like Exxon did with the Valdez. You can't legally make me clean it up even though I know I'm responsible for it. You can't legally make me clean. You should want to. Like, you have the privilege of having a business here in America and making all that freaking money. Don't cry to me when you should actually reasonably, responsibly want to kick in to help
hmm
clean it up. Okay. Don't
I
make
agree
us like
with you.
we got to tell you the right thing to do. Like, if we got to tell you, that's why government gets so big, because people are assholes and you have to tell them that they should be doing the right thing. And then they go, well, I know the right thing to do, but you can't make me do it. And then you got to slap them around a bit to try to make them do the right thing. This is the problem with government. That's why it's so damn big. People won't, like they say, there's nothing that forces me to do it, even though it's the right thing. But I'm not doing it because then if I do it, then I'm going to be expected to do it all the time, or it's not financially viable for me, or I could be losing profit, or this, that, and the other thing. Like, that's why it gets out of control.
It does
Because
get out of control.
and you know what? I'm going to say it. I love legal, right? Like I'm
Of course you do.
fascinated with it. But I'm going to tell you the one biggest problem we have in America is that it's a litigious society.
It is.
It
It is.
everybody sues for everything, and you're all making it worse. Y'all
Yep.
just need to sit down and shut up, like you do. You do.
Let's
Y'all
take
just need
away
to
your
sit
right
down.
to sue people.
No, not your right to sue people, but
Oh, okay.
frivolous. I do believe that frivolous
Frivolous.
lawsuits should be more sanctioned than they are. I do believe that
Yeah.
if you have the right to sue everybody, you should also have the right to control
But
that
again,
situation
the
so it
thing
doesn't get
about
out of control.
the thing about that is this is a right guaranteed in our Constitution.
Oh,
The right
but
to address
yeah.
your government
Mhm.
in the courts.
And yet,
Uh,
my right to be an equal citizen here in America, I can earn wages, I could pay tax. I got the same right to pay the same amount of tax as you, but I don't have all the rights that you have, which
of
is,
course
by
not.
the way, quite
Because
messed
you're a
up.
woman.
Exactly. But still, was my point. Exactly. Thanks for noticing. I know that really hurt that you had to notice that and everything. I know that was really painful for you, but thank you for taking one for the team.
I'm
But
not sure who took the one for the team on that one, but I'm sure later I'm going to get yelled at for what I just said.
I know, probably, but yeah, no, it's true. But that's not in the Constitution.
If you're
But
not careful, you won't be able to vote anymore.
yeah, I'm gonna get they're gonna use this stream as a reason. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Yeah,
I don't
they're
think
gonna
they
have a
need a
hard time.
reason anymore.
Can you imagine if they go back and get rid of abolition, like the abolitionists, like say they were all illegal acts and everything like that, so then we never should have passed that women should vote? Like they pretty much could go back and do that too. If they could go back 20 years and pull an FDA approval, why can't they do that?
I'll go back 49 years and anyway.
No, seriously. I mean, they already went back 50 years on the other. Why
Yeah,
not?
I know. And
Mm.
this is why it's a slippery slope when you decide I want to change the laws, not legislatively, but from the bench. It's
Mm.
again something that the Republicans have held for years that they didn't want to see happen,
Mm.
and yet now
Well,
that it does happen,
mhm.
they're all for it.
Hey, Rocket, like somebody voted me as president, but now I've been defeated already. They don't want me anymore. They want you for president. Can I be your vice? Hmm? Hmm, 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 hmm. Can you imagine who my cabinet would be, or our cabinet? Come on. All right. Who are we going to put? Okay, wait a minute. All right. Who do
You're
you
talking
want?
to Rocket, right?
Yeah, Rocket wants you. Yeah, because your membership stands it. Like you're going to be
Oh,
president. And Sean wanted me as
oh
president, but
no,
they're okay with
Rocket,
me
stop
being.
it!
Mhm,
I know what you're doing.
mhm.
No, I'm not running for president. You are not putting me in that
Yes,
category.
yes. No, let's just
No,
play. No,
I know
let's play.
exactly what he's doing, and it ain't happening.
Okay, lawsuits should have to pass I do agree with that, Rocket Couch. Before they go through, I think that they should actually pass a frivolity, like whether it's frivolous or not. And it is supposed to. There's statements that are made in lawsuits that say that like you've checked this, that, and the other thing, and that you believe beyond whatever that this is the right thing to do. But not every state honors them. In the federal doesn't often either. It is a thing already, but it's not actually um there's so many loopholes to it that it's not actually quite as effective as it should be. But it was what was used in the frivolous lawsuit sanctions that were done against the Florida attorneys recently of Trump.
Mhm.
because they knew damn well they were arguing a point that was already decided upon, and it couldn't be done. So they just got them on frivolous lawsuit that way, but for not dotting their I's and crossing their T's, Oh, wait, okay, wait. Let's look at our friends and give them positions. Okay, so Rocket Couch wants you for president. Okay,
No.
so do we
No.
make
No.
him like the head of your campaign?
I am not running
Okay.
for president.
Wait. What about Record? Does he get a position? I mean, come on. Let's give the wrenches and Jin. We got to give Jin a position too. I think Jin.
No, I am not running for president. I'm not running for president. I will keep saying this. You can clip it all you want now. I am not running for president. Nobody's going to get me on this one.
That's right, because we know who's really going to get the 2024 presidency.
I know
Mallory.
somebody
know.
who is running for president, and I'm not getting
Mallory.
a straitjacket for her running against her.
I'm not running against Mallory. And just to be clear, I'm saying it here on YouTube. I'm voting for Mallory. I've said it for months now. It's been like 6-7 months. I am definitely voting for Mallory. That's it.
Yep, me too.
I'm sorry,
voting for
Quiz.
Mallory.
Don't run, because I don't want to vote against you. Mallory, let's just change that right there. Rocket, I don't go over there. We might have to straitjacket you for even suggesting Quiz should be president. Like, that's not. It's not. Okay.
At least with
anyway.
Mallory, we would all get stoned daily. We could write that in the law.
Yeah. Do we have any idea who she want in her cabinet? That would be quite interesting. Jin wants to be in charge of the DEA, and we're all fired. Wait, if I'm fired, does that just mean I have more time to violate the DEA regulations? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jin. Yep. Okay, we're fired.
Charlie
is Minister Snark. Okay. All right. Can we put Wrecker in charge of entertainment?
Yeah.
Do they have? Yeah. Okay. It's like all the. What is that? He would have to be some type of ambassador. Huh? We'd have to probably. Well, we'll just make him Secretary of State. He could be the schmoozer of countries. There you go. What do you think?
I'll be his assistant and helping schmooze.
No, you wouldn't.
I'll see if he can entertain well.
Rocket Couch gets the Ministry of Silly Walks. You can have it. You can have it. You definitely do. Oh, yep. He calls dibs on the Ministry of Silly Walks. Absolutely. Yep, Charlie, well, ambassador. I will be clothed the whole time. Yes, you will. That's a rule, actually. Quiz is not allowed to make you be naked while you perform your duties. Wrecker, don't worry about it. And if he says otherwise, just don't worry. I'll put him up on sanctions.
Wrecker, do you really need me to say that? You can still be clothed and.
Yeah, but just the thing, no, stop right there. There's be no harassing of the members of the cabinet. Like, I can't believe I have to say this. Like, stop right there. I should have known better. I'm sorry, Rocket. We're gonna have to impeach this guy right away. Like, he ain't even in. He's not even in, because even if I try to sanction him, he likes it. He likes the sanction. Like, I can't even. I'm gonna have to just outright impeach him. That's it. I'm gonna usurp the position right here. From Mallory's for president, we're getting Quiz. He's out. That's it. We can't. He can't. There's too. We would be in court like all day, every day. Just from our friends. Like, not even the people that don't like us. Just our friends would be like.
Oh, trust me, they wouldn't take us to court.
No. Nope. They probably wouldn't. Yeah. Fish Nerd wants to be Secretary of Under the Covers Operations. Done. That's a good position to have. Yeah. And Michelle wants to be on the court so she can get free vacations and stuff. Yes, so that Harlan Crow can donate to you, Michelle Ferguson, all of the riches and stuff. And you can come and look at his private collection and everything, and you like have dinner and all of that. It'd be great. Harlan Crow can be your friend then. There's a Harlan Crow for everyone. I get voted in as a dictator. first decision is to scrap the Constitution. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine if I just said, okay, everybody, we got to go back. I want to redo. I don't like the language you used. It's really not proper English. You're going to have to go back and redo the Constitution. What do you think, Quiz? Should that be the first business? Yeah.
Wow. I know this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, but I think it is time that the Congress stands up and says that the Constitution needs to be rewritten.
It is. And Michelle, she just wants a crown. Okay, wait a minute. Do judges get crowns? They don't get crowns, Michelle. I'm sorry.
I mean,
But
how many
I will make
other
sure.
countries have
I will.
rewritten their
I don't think.
constitutions
Well, they amend
from
it
the
all the
time that
time.
they wrote the original to where it is today? They've
Hmm.
gone back and looked over the language and all that and made it more clear, but we haven't. Just saying. I think after
Well,
250 years, it's time we stand up and go,
we should
maybe.
research that. We should actually look at all the amendments. Like, I actually want to know what the last actual adjustment to the amendments was. Like, when they actually came forth and legally did anything for it. There's plenty of lawyers out there who deal with that. I'll have to look. Well,
Hmm.
the first law. Okay, Michelle, because there isn't a crown that is part of like that you get a crown when you run the whole legal system. I will make sure that there's protection that if you want to wear that crown, they can't make you take it off. How's that? Like you could wear it like to work and around your house and to bed and all of that. We won't outlaw crowns, but I can't make a crown part of the position. That would be like weird. Or a tiara on whatever you want. Yeah. But she just wants the crown.
Well,
I don't know. But on that, like, what did we cover all of the topics we thought we
we
were going to
have
cover?
actually.
Did we
We got through
actually?
all
And
of
then
them.
some. We did. And just to let everybody know, oh, that's what I wanted to do. I want to just share this link. I hope it's not too long. For those of you that are interested in exactly what's going on with all the many, many lawsuits that
Oh
we didn't
yes.
address on Trump,
For Donald Trump.
there's an organization that's actually covering like each one and just trying to keep up to date. It's called Just Security, and it's through they just check stuff like that out. But there's the link to the actual civil and criminal cases.
I just remembered there is something we forgot to cover.
What was that?
What does the like and subscribe button do?
Oh gosh.
Because there's no thingy running across my screen to tell me.
Oh, there it is. Yes. But I'll have you know that Robski took care of that when he first got here. He said, yo, there's 3 of us in the chat. There's 5 of us watching, and there's only 2 of us have hit the like button. Like he came in like something like that.
That's
not
true.
those exact words, but he came in and took care of it right away. Like,
but we do want to thank you for hitting the like button.
And
if you like what you've heard, subscribe, because we do this every once in a while. But
Mhm.
Claire does a lot of other stuff, and it's pretty darn good.
Oh, from Quiz's lips. Did you hear that, people? Quiz said it was good. Ooh, I'm
Tomorrow
excited.
night. Oh no, wait.
Oh no.
Saturday night.
Actually, Saturday night we're doing what the effery, which is more
what
like
the effery?
This. What the effery?
What the fudgery?
Fudgery? What the fiddlesticks? What the like fantastic?
What the fire truck?
What the is going on? That's what that show's like. Exactly. That's it in a nutshell. Just like that. What
So
the
come back
what?
on Saturday to join everybody except probably me.
This is why. Well. Sometimes he gets busy.
I might be busy that night.
Yes. And the way he said that, I can tell he's probably going to be quite busy. For those of you that
did tax day.
It is.
So I have to pay taxes.
You have to pay tax. No, it is the 15th, but we have until the 18th because of the holiday.
What holiday?
Easter happened on a Monday.
Oh, never mind. I'm not going to argue with you.
Okay. Anyway, if you look it up, We don't have to file
Okay.
until the
Well, I'm
18th
sorry,
at
but I'm
midnight.
probably going to be busy on the 15th paying taxes.
Okay, that's what he calls it now this week.
It's a
This
special
week it's
day.
called
Don't ask.
paying taxes. On the 15th, it's called paying taxes on April 15th. Okay.
So, yeah,
I mhm, that's okay. You could pay
that's
your
okay.
taxes. Pay your taxes often. I'm glad you're an upstanding citizen in the tax paying department. That's a wonderful thing. Actually, I'm
So,
happy for
anyway,
you.
let's make sure everybody remembers to
Mhm.
hit like, subscribe, and share.
Right?
Be sure to comment on the backside of this because Claire loves comments.
I do like comments. If you have anything to say about this, especially these kind of conversations, go ahead, hit me up on
Yeah.
the back of the video.
And
I
if you
will
would
answer
really
everything.
like to be a jackass and start slamming on people, you can find me in Discord and you can just send your DMs to me and we'll talk. I promise. We'll hold a civil conversation about your concerns. I will give you my heart.
Oh, wow. Wait a minute. You
Huh?
found it? Like, wait, I thought,
No.
what? Okay, I'm behind. I mean, I gotta stop sleeping. I've missed a lot. I've missed a lot. Yeah, it's been. Anyway, I appreciate that because actually, people have been quite decent lately. They actually want to have conversations a little bit
Oh,
lately.
yes.
They
If
have
you
too
want
many
to
other
jump
things
into a
to fight
VC
about.
or call me, oh, you can give me a direct call and I will talk to you even.
He will. He will. I should make you my PR manager. I should just give you all my social media accounts and just like that would be something. Yeah, that'd be something. But no, I haven't done that, people. That was just like, that was just whimsical thinking. It's not a threat. I didn't do that. I didn't do it. But actually, I do want to have those conversations. And on that end, if you guys have anything you want to talk to in library chats, either political or personal, on that this is the actual series that we do all that on. But what I have coming up the rest of the week is mostly true crime. We've got quite a few really nasty lawsuits going on right now. So Thursday and Fridays will be updates on Storch and on Valo. That Saturday we will let our hair down and do all the other social shenanigans that's going on social media, all that craziness all over the place. There's even some, hint, like even monsters suing people. Like this is a crazy quiz. Like
Every day.
it's a
There's
litigious
something new.
society out there, keeping me busy, keeping me really, 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 really busy. Well, wait a minute. What was this? Oh, all right. We're out. We'll go. I saw it. All right. I'm sorry. On that,
That's all
I'm
right.
gonna say everybody have a good one. And we'll see you when we see you, either on the true crime for the rest of the week or the panels we do over at the shows and or on Saturday night with I believe so far Mrs. Cassandra and MC Record have committed to being there, and who knows who else will be there. We'll see.
I think we should get
Apparently,
Rocket Couch
quiz.
over there.
Oh, I like him when he shows up over there. He's got a permanent invite. You know that, Rocket Couch. You should get over there. But yeah, you go pay your taxes. I'll talk to you later. Oh, and for those of you lucky enough to have already subscribed, been a member or a Patreon member, or have collaborated and are in the Discord, we have games tonight, and it's going to be hella fun. And if you haven't, you know how to get in there. It says right there, you got to be either a member of the channel and or the Patreon, and or you have to be a creative collaborator, and that's even easier to do. So hit me up if
I
you
mean,
haven't
look what I
already.
do. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we torture him up here. Like he just loved it. Like he had to pay his dues. There we go. All right, go,
good
goodbye.
night, y'all. We'll talk
Final
to you
bye. Good
later.
night. All right, we'll see y'all later. Good night.